Hey, what is up, you guys? It's Silver Fang, and today we're back with another video. So as you saw in the title and thumbnail, today we're going to be discussing Emiya versus Achilles. And for a lot of you guys, you might think, oh, that's way overkill. That's way too overkill. Emiya versus Achilles is way too much. But Emiya is kind of my favorite servant, and I'm not going to be biased in this video because of that. But I think Emiya is used to fighting opponents who are stronger than him. And normally he uses like calm analysis to take advantage of certain situations that would sometimes allow him to defeat opponents that he shouldn't otherwise be able to defeat. Now that doesn't mean he can beat Achilles. So this is I was thinking about it. This is a pretty interesting fight. So obviously Emiya is the underdog in this fight. So what I'm gonna do is, and by the way, Achilles is a servant that has a lot of, like, the dude is very versatile. He has a lot of noble phantasms. Like, he has like 6 of them. So what I'm gonna do in this video is that I'm gonna go through all the skills that Achilles have, including parameters, and see which of them Emiya can sort of counter and some that he can't counter, or if he could counter all of them, and how would that play out. And by the end, I'll give you my thoughts and give you a percentage of how many times could Emiya, even if he can, how many times, let's say out of 10, he could possibly beat Achilles, if he's even capable of doing it. So first of all, let's compare their parameters. And it's no surprise, Achilles pretty much blows Emiya out of the water in all parameters, all of them, except for like noble phantasm, which Emiya has like a question mark because unlimited blade works is kind of unpredictable and we don't know exactly what's like everything that's in there. So Emiya always has the chance of kind of pulling something out of his ass, pretty much, because we don't know exactly what's in there. We know a few things that might be in there, but we don't know all that's in the unlimited blade works. And that's what makes Emiya so much fun to do like versus battles with, because it's kind of Gilgamesh, but his weapons aren't that crazy, but they're pretty freaking useful, some of them. So let's start off with their parameters. Achilles has a strength of B+, endurance A, agility A+, mana C, luck D, and noble phantasm A+. Now, when talking about Emiya, parameters is not the end all be all to a fight. As we've seen, Emiya has been able to fight somebody like Heracles, take multiple of his lives. He has been able to fight somebody like Colin, who, again, some of his parameters are higher than Emiya's. So Emiya is kind of used to fighting opponents that are stronger than him. But now let's do some power scaling, right? In his fight with Colin, because for example, he was able to fight Heracles, and Heracles has an A agility and probably A+ enhanced with the mat enhancement, you know, so maybe his agility could possibly be A+. And Emiya kept up with him, and he took, I believe, in the original State Knight, don't quote me on that, but he took, I think, 6 of his lives. So he's able to keep up with that kind of speed. But you got to remember, Heracles is kind of weird because he doesn't really use strategy and doesn't use his speed in the optimal way possible. He usually charged head first in a straight line to his opponents. So that's why Emiya could keep up with him, because of his clairvoyance, true eye of the mind true that he has. Obviously, if you're coming to Emiya in a straight line, he's going to be able to keep up with you. Remember, this guy was able to see and analyze the gay bulk who travels, I think, is a Mach 2 speed. He was able to see it and react to it in time. So he can keep up with pretty fast objects, especially if they're coming in a straight line. So that's why he was able to keep up with Heracles. But then we turn to Cuchulainn, who is a freaking master spearman with an A agility, and he had Emiya on the back foot the whole time. Emiya was not keeping up with this guy, even while using his Eye of the Mind True, even while using his clairvoyance, which kind of turns into this ability called Hawkeye, which allows him to keep track of fast moving objects within 4 kilometers. So I mean, but Cuchulainn wasn't coming at him in a straight line. So once he's fighting someone who actually uses their speed to the optimal way possible, after they pass like that A rank agility, he's kind of not able to keep up all that good. So Achilles has an A+ agility. Now, it's so the A+. What this means is that sometimes Achilles can be twice as fast as Cuchulainn was in moments, like in bursts, pretty much. So, if you remember that scene where Emiya was about to fight Cuchulainn kind of seemed like he teleported. He just moving way too fast, but it seemed like he teleported and teleported behind Emiya. Emiya was able to catch that with his Eye of the Mind True and clairvoyance, but he was barely able to dodge it, like barely, like by a millimeter. Like this dude was barely able to dodge it. So let's say Achilles was the one who did that. In that burst, I don't even think Emiya could have seen that coming. Maybe he could have seen it, but there's no freaking way he could have reacted to it. No way in hell. So, speed, like Emiya cannot fight Achilles straight up. He can't do it because he won't be able to keep up with this guy. Now, the thing is, Emiya, he's very versatile too. I would dare say even more versatile than Achilles himself. So what does this mean? So Emiya could, with his Eye of the Mind True, he's going to be able to analyze and be like, yeah, I don't think I can keep up with this guy. Like, maybe after seeing Achilles move one time, he's gonna think about it. It's like, I gotta slow this guy down somehow. Somehow I gotta slow this guy down. And how would that work? Now, Emiya is pretty much a master in freaking, like, in freaking archery. Like, this dude could potentially move away and try to snipe Achilles. But then you gotta think about, like, well, how would Emiya handle Achilles' invulnerability? And that's where this comes in. You got to remember that Emiya is a servant from the present time. Like, well, not Emiya's from the future actually, but he lived through the present time. Tell me who in this time has never heard the phrase Achilles heel? I think everybody in this world has heard that at least once, because it's way too famous. So considering that Emiya is from the present time, or from the future, from a future time, he should know who Achilles is. So he's gonna have knowledge towards Achilles' abilities. So how would this work? So basically, Emiya has to find a way to blind Achilles somehow. Either shoot an arrow towards the ground, find some way to hide and move away, depending on the battlefield. Now, Emiya can definitely do this. We seen him like hide in bushes, and remember how he killed Gilgamesh at the end of Unlimited Blade Works. Like, this dude just hid, sniped them. We saw him do this with Berserker. When Artoria was fighting him, he just moved away and freaking started sniping him. So that's something that he could possibly do. And remember, he can move and still hit his target accurately from 4 meters away. So that's pretty good. Now, if he's able to hit Achilles in the heel, that takes away his invulnerability and maybe slow him down somewhat. Remember, Achilles is kind of even, but then again, Achilles has a counter to it, because even if he slowed down a little bit, his noble phantasm is gonna activate, called Runner's Comet, and it's kind of gonna make him faster than Emiya anyways. No matter how much he slows down, he's still gonna be faster than Emiya, but just maybe slow him down enough so that his agility goes down to like A. And it's not a stretch, because we saw that when Kieran hit his heel, he slowed down considerably. He's still the faster servant in the field due to his noble phantasm, but he did slow down. So we know that Emiya could keep up with servants who have A agility. We could say that if you hit someone's heel, Emiya's agility is a C. So potentially, the most that Achilles, that his agility can go down, is to a B. But I'm not trying to favor Emiya too much, so I'm gonna just keep it at A, because as we saw, Kieran did hit Achilles' heels, and just a moments later he was fighting again. So like, he slowed down a bit, but not by much. So, but now, what does that say then? Like, I would say that'll bring his agility down to A, to the point where Emiya could maybe keep up with Achilles. So next up, Achilles' chariot. His chariot is gonna be trouble, because it moves super fast, and the faster it moves, the harder it hits. Like, the longer Achilles rides his chariot, the faster is gonna hit. I mean, the most powerful the hit is gonna be. But I think, considering how his world barrier noble phantasm is compared to the Ro Aias, and that's Achilles' most powerful noble phantasm, I think he would have to ride his chariot for a very long time before he can accumulate the power, like enough power to get through Emiya's Ro Aias. So he would have to ride the chariot for a long ass time, because in order to get enough power to where Ro Aias wouldn't be able to stop it, it's kind of saying that his chariot needs to get to the level of his other noble phantasm, the what was the name, the Achilles Cosmos. So and plus, you got to remember, the horses they're just as strong as another servant. So, well, when summoned by a servant, that is. Like when summoned by a master, the horses are just as strong as another servant. So he would have to ride that for a long time, and Emiya would just be sniping at him the whole time. Like Emiya would just be shooting at him the whole time with broken Noble Phantasm. So he can afford, and Emiya can accurately hit his target from a long ass distance away. So I don't think that's the best strategy for Achilles to just ride around in his chariot, just because Emiya could possibly even hit his heel from that far. So it's like, I don't think using his chariot is the best strategy to fight Emiya, because a long distance fight favors Emiya anyways. So Emiya won't care that he's riding his horses. And remember, if the horses are summoned by a master, they're only as strong as another servant. So potentially Emiya could kill those horses. Now, if it was in like the real world or something, like not the real world, but you know, like in the real Achilles time, 2 of those horses will be immortal. But if they're summoned by a master, the horses are just as strong as another servant, so that they can be killed, and Emiya can potentially snipe those horses out of the air, because he can track fast moving objects. So that's not a problem for him. And if Achilles somehow manages to dodge, which is very unlikely, to dodge all of Emiya's attacks like arrows, I don't think he can reach the power to get through Emiya's raw eyes. So the chariot is not the best strategy for Achilles. So let's say he gets off his chariot and now is a one-on-one fight. Now Emiya has, let's not talk about unlimited blade works yet. Let's talk about normal fight. Now, as I said, he is outclassed by a lot here. And considering how the fight with Cuchulainn went, I think if we take away Achilles' immortality, let's just consider that Emiya already hit his heel, because that's the first thing he's gonna want to do, because his out of the mind true is gonna allow him to analyze and say, this is the first thing I gotta do in this fight is hit this dude's heel. So you know he's gonna go for it, and he definitely has the archery skills to get it done. And Emiya is this type of dude that he would use any tricks to win. Like this, you saw him in Unlimited Blade Works. Like this dude would like blind him. He'll find a way to hit the heel. So let's say that the agility is taken away, and now his immortality is taken away. Now his agility is A rank. So I guess the fight will mostly go just how it went with Cuchulainn, where Emiya was barely keeping up, and it's not a good look. So Emiya is gonna be forced to activate his unlimited blade works. Remember, now Achilles hasn't yet he hasn't used his spear. It has like a curse ability where the damage you take from the spear can be healed, so no sword healing for him. I don't even remember if he does have sword healing. I'm pretty sure they never mentioned it, but you got to consider Shiro had it, so he probably has it. But no sword healing here, because those attacks can't be healed. So basically, with the unlimited blade works, I think Emiya could potentially push Achilles to use his Achilles Cosmos, and Achilles can actually use the shield for attack. He tries to crush his opponent with it. Now, if Emiya can somehow force Achilles to use the Achilles Cosmos first, he could potentially counter with unlimited blade works and kind of like create the reality marble within the barrier and kind of fight in the unlimited blade works battlefield anyways. But if that's the case, the most I can see for Emiya, is a tie. Because in the event that he kind of counters Achilles with the unlimited blade works, and that's considering if Achilles just summons the world. If Achilles tries to crush Emiya immediately with the world, then Emiya is done. Like, he's done, like done. So basically, the most Emiya can hope for is a tie, because the Noble Phantasm, even if he does defeat Achilles, he's gonna be trapped in the bounded field, and I don't think his Achilles Noble Phantasm deactivates after Achilles dies. So like, it's just like a bounded field. Like, Emiya would just be trapped there in that case. So it's kind of just, even if Emiya finds some way to beat Achilles in a limited blade works, it's kind of just gonna be a tie. But it most likely than not, Achilles is just gonna use Achilles Cosmos to crush Emiya, and I don't think unlimited blade works would be able to handle it, because this is a whole world, while unlimited blade works is just a reality marble, which is like a small space within a world. So just based on that, it's kind of messed up. And unfortunately, it is a reality marble, but unfortunately the unlimited blade works doesn't have like what you call this, a designation. You know how usually a Noble Phantasm will say anti-world, anti-army, anti-whatever. So unlimited blade works doesn't have that. So it could potentially be an A++ Noble Phantasm, which is pretty good. But in case, the only way that I can see Emiya beating Achilles is if some way somehow he can freaking destroy the world. And there's a lot of speculation where it says like Emiya could potentially create kind of, as we saw, like he could create Caliburn in well, Shiro could create Caliburn in Stay Night. So maybe, and this is like pulling shit out of my ass here, maybe he can create something similar to Excalibur. Maybe we do know that he has a lot of stuff in there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he also has the gay Bog in there. So if he could fight and finish Achilles off with some strategy before Achilles uses Achilles Cosmos, he should be able to do it. It's hard, but he has a possibility to get it done before Achilles uses Achilles Cosmos. So if he activates his unlimited blade works first and kind of tries to go at Achilles hard and finish him off before he can activate it, kind of like he did, kind of like Shiro did with Gilgamesh. Was like Gilgamesh was gonna use Ea, but Shiro just didn't give him enough time because unlimited blade works is so freaking overwhelming. Then in that case, yes, Emiya could potentially get it done. But if Achilles activates Achilles Cosmos, he kind of has no way to counter. Like, Achilles Cosmos will crush unlimited blade works and crush Emiya along with it. And unless Emiya can freaking do something like release freaking Excalibur with all seals release type shit, like, I don't know, I don't think he can get it done. Now remember though, Emiya can potentially create Avalon. So, and this is a lot of speculation here. If he could potentially create Avalon and create Excalibur, that might take more mana than he has. That's why I said at the very best is gonna be a tie, because even if he can create Excalibur, which it has said that he could, if I'm not mistaken, it was mentioned that he can create it, but it will use a lot of his mana, and he won't pretty much have any more mana left. But in this case, he doesn't have to use Excalibur. He can create it, keep it within Caliburn, and kinda dodge Achilles Cosmos. But then he will be dead, because he's gonna use most of his mana, and maybe he can fire one Excalibur blast, and this is a lot of speculation, and kill the Achilles, but then Emiya will just die right after. So at the best, like even if I use all the possibilities in the world, at the best, if Achilles activates Achilles Cosmos, it's gonna be a tie at the very best. So even if Emiya can create Excalibur, which will use most of his mana, and create Caliburn and create Avalon, and kind of use Avalon in combination with Excalibur, kinda like Altoria can, then potentially he can dodge the Achilles Cosmos, but then he will die from creating all those weapons almost right after. Or maybe he can fire Excalibur once, and then he would just die right after. So at the very best, it's gonna be a tie if Achilles Cosmos is activated. Now potentially, if Emiya can defeat Achilles before Achilles Cosmos, then he might have a chance. He definitely might have a chance. So that's so now to my overall results. So basically, I think that Achilles will beat Emiya probably 7 times out of 10, and using strategy, Emiya can maybe beat him 2 times, and then 1 out of those 10 times is gonna be a tie. That's the best I can say. I think he has a chance, because Emiya is a pretty resourceful servant, so he definitely has a chance even against like some of the stronger servants. But like, it's gonna be a hard fought fight, and overall Achilles is gonna take him most times. So that's it for the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, please subscribe to the channel, and please watch the whole video before the comments. And that's pretty much it. If you like this video, again, hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And as I always say, have a nice day, and catch you guys in the next one.